Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 by Marvel Studios has hit theaters this past weekend. Chris Pratt returns as Star-Lord, Zoe Saldana returns as Gamora, Bautista as Drax, Bradley Cooper as the voice of Rocket, and Vin Diesel as the voice of Groot. Karen Gillan also returns as Nebula, Pom Klementieff also returns as Mantis, and Elizabeth Debicki returns as the Sovereign leader Ayesha. She and the Sovereign create a new warrior for their people. Adam Warlock, played by Will Poulter, was also a Speed Rush creation by the High Evolutionary. The High Evolutionary, played by Chukwudi Iwuji, also experimented on Rocket a long time ago in the past. Spoiler alert for the film if you haven't seen it just yet, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is the final film in James Gunn's run at Marvel Studios. He's going to be departing over at DC Studios moving forward. His first two films were well received, and Marvel Studios wants to complete his chapter of characters. The film right off the bat felt like such a fun trip with bold buddies of old pals on a rescue mission. James Gunn is so familiar with all of these characters after so many projects, since the last 10 years. The other characters like Cosmo and Kraglin were also cool to see in larger roles. The Ravagers also felt like another callback to the first film, bringing back Sylvester Stallone. The tone of the film was classic James Gunn. The man just understands how to mesh a world of nonsensical characters together in a heartwarming tale. I think Marvel Studios will miss the quality of characters that Gunn brought into the MCU. There are plenty of Easter eggs for old fans of the first film. The plot wasn't too complicated, and that's a good thing, to be honest. The best stories aren't always the most convoluted and not always connected to the multiverse. The plot was very simple. Rocket is dying after a scuffle with the sent mercenary. The team scramble to save him by retrieving a key that unlocks the ability to save him. This journey for the Guardians gets them in conflict with the High Evolutionary and other characters. Ayesha returns after her appearance in Volume 2. She seeks vengeance on the Guardians and uses her newly created son, Adam Warlock, as a weapon. The Guardians also run into Gamora, who's joined the Ravagers. She tags along to help the others on their mission, even though she has no connection to their previous adventures. This is all expanded and explained, obviously, with Gamora being originally, killed off in Infinity War at the hand of Thanos. But then in Endgame, they were able to go back in time and brought back an alternate version of Gamora that never really met Peter Quill. And so now the two are just in this awkward standstill of romance, but not really, since she doesn't really know him at all. There's a couple of death scares and tragic flashbacks that build the bulk of emotion into the story. Rocket's friendship with other animals behind the cages was just so sad to see. So fair warning, if you're not comfortable with animals being experimented on or the concept of animal behind cages, this is going to be a very tough watch for a lot of animal lovers, in my opinion. But I think at the same time, it adds to the story and adds to the tragedy, but also adds to the journey that Rocket Raccoon has been on since the very first film. But the High Evolutionary looks to create a perfect society of intelligent life, and this includes experimenting on humans and animals from all kinds of areas. He uses Rocket's enhanced intelligence to create a super evolution machine. The machine fast forwards thousands of years of evolution of any species inserted. Rocket obviously doesn't see eye to eye on the idea after hearing that his friends and he will be destroyed. And the High Evolutionary sees them off as some sort of imperfect creation of his own, so he wants to get rid of them for that very reason. But Rocket narrowly escapes, leaving behind his darker past. Rocket's friends all unfortunately pass away while he escaped. Now in the future, Rocket is near his own death, and now his new friends and family are on a run against time to save his life. They find the key to saving their friend, and the Guardians battle the High Evolutionary. And all this going on at the same time, we get some, hints towards Gamora's old adventures with the Guardians and her original romance with Peter Quill, and how, Peter Quill sort of struggles with this inner thought and this inner struggle within himself and needing others around him, and never really coming to grips with his own past and to coming grips with his own reality. His half-sister Mantis kind of helps him come to that understanding and helps him at the very end of the movie sort of take a back seat from the Guardians and look to take care of his own stuff going on in his own head. Groot shows off some insane abilities after just years of regrowth. Drax is wonderful to have, but I also understand if Dave Bautista isn't thrilled in the role anymore. I also enjoyed seeing Karen Gillan return as Nebula and seeing her development from the first Guardians being this hired for sale person into now being a leader in this group and a person that actually cares about others. And I think that's the strongest point of the film, is that James Gunn was able to show the progression of almost all of these characters since the first film almost an entire decade ago. And they still hold a charm to fans now. I think that should just be applauded. Rocket has gone from some selfish merchant to an empathetic leader. Nebula was a ruthless mercenary, like her sister, but now has a heart for rebuilding. Gamora might have taken a step back, but the film felt right devoting time to its many characters. I loathed the High Evolutionary, but seeing Rocket hold back in vengeance was a nice character moment for himself. I also loved the soundtrack of the film, and I thought it fit so well with the plot. I especially liked that Mowgli's San Francisco song from 2013 too. The fact that Gunn just brought that indie hit into this along with some 70s and 80s hit, I can't wait to see how much his storytelling develops for Superman. The post-credits scene with the new Guardians team was also very nice to see. I'm curious to see what time jump exists after the end of Volume 3. The new team includes Rocket as the leader, Groot, Kraglin, Cosmo, Phyla, and Adam Warlock. A new team for a new upcoming battle, probably? I'm curious to see if Marvel Studios will bring back any of these characters in the future, since they're all connected with James Gunn after all. But you just don't know what Kevin Feige has planned for the future. As for this film, I give it a solid 8.8 out of 10. It was heartwarming, funny, satisfying, nostalgic, and hits on all the notes for an MCU film. There's no major connections to the multiverse or Kang Dynasty, but I think that worked to the film's advantage. The film is by far the best of Phase 5 so far. But what do you guys think of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Where does it fit in your MCU rankings? Share all those thoughts down below. Thank you for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed today's topic. If you could hit that sub button, that would be awesome. Hit that like button and boost my video up on the algorithm. Click that bell so you don't miss any of my videos that get uploaded. And if you have some time to spare, check out some of these videos on your screen right now.